Hey everyone, it's Kenji, how's it going? I am out here on this beautiful day on the dock. We have a tray full of peppers and onions cooking on the grill right now. I've got an array of beautiful raw sausages from my restaurant, my old restaurant, Lopez-Alt down in San Mateo that I brought back with me to Seattle. And today I'm gonna teach you the do's and don'ts of grilling great sausages. All right, the first thing you don't wanna do is use a bad sausage. So if you buy a pre-made sausage, it's already been cooked, it's going to be very hard to cook it again and still maintain a good texture. So I always like to start with raw, really high quality sausages. A lot of supermarkets these days will make their own sausages in-house. You can also buy it in a package. If you're lucky, you have a local butcher who makes them. If you're really lucky, you previously owned a restaurant that makes them and you can go down to San Mateo and get them. These sausages are from my old restaurant, Lopez-Alt. We have 8 different flavors here. You just want to get a good sausage and you should be good to go. Number 2, don't do what I'm doing here, which is letting them sit around for so long in the sun. Ideally, you want to keep your sausages cold. People who make sausages, they know how important it is to keep everything nice and chilled. All the equipment is chilled. Oftentimes the equipment is actually stored in the fridge and they're making their sausages in a walk-in fridge. The idea is that if you let the meat get too warm, the fat does what's called smearing. So rather than emulsifying properly or staying in distinct chunks, it ends up smearing out. And so what'll happen is that as your sausage cooks, you get these sort of all this melted fat that's gonna squeeze out the ends or just collect inside the casing. And all of that flavor is gonna go away when you bite into it, and you're gonna be left with sort of a dry sausage. So you wanna keep your sausage nice and chilled until you're ready to cook it. Number 3, don't cook your sausages dry. This one is more of a guideline than a rule, but oftentimes, if you try and put a sausage straight onto the grill, you're gonna end up burning the outside and leaving the inside raw, or worse, what might happen is that you might end up bursting the sausage, so all the juices spill out. Ideally, you wanna start your sausages by slow cooking them. I like to do them in a tray with all of the topping ingredients, so it could be peppers and onions, it could be sauerkraut, it could be whatever, it could be sliced apples in cider, whatever ingredients you're gonna top the sausages with, I put them in an aluminum tray and then simmer the sausages in them until they're done. Whatever the accompaniments you're gonna serve with the sausages, I like to put that all in a tray on the side, slide the sausages in there, let them sort of poach gently on the cooler side of the grill, and then finish them off with a hot sear. That way you get nice, even cooking all the way through and a good sear at the end. Number 5, don't puncture your sausages. So a really well-made sausage, the fat shouldn't run out too much. It'll mostly be contained because it's emulsified properly, but there will still be some juices that are being held in by that casing, all that cleaned out hog intestine that you've shoved your meat into. If you puncture them, all that juice can spill out. It'll end up going onto your coals. It'll end up causing a flare-up. You could burn your sausages. You'll end up with a burnt and dry sausage, which is not ideal for me. Ideally, you want to flip them using tongs or gently with a spatula to make sure that they stay intact until they're done. Don't let your sausages sit too long on one side. So sausages, if you start to cook them on one side gets really nice and cooked, the other side stays raw. What happens is that the skin starts to tighten up, the casing will start to tighten up, and you run a bigger chance that your sausage is gonna burst. So you wanna try and cook them evenly, which means flipping them as they cook. And number 7, don't guess whether they're done or not. You don't wanna serve someone a raw sausage in the middle. And you also don't wanna overcook your sausages. Sausages can be overcooked just like anything else. Your best bet is to use a thermometer. I'm gonna go against my rule about not poking your sausage. It's okay to poke them towards the end of cooking. Just poke them towards the end of the link so that you don't let out too many juices. Alternatively, you can take one off the grill, cut a little slice out of it, and see if it's done cooking. But whatever you do, you don't want to serve someone a raw sausage. And finally, don't let the sausages get cold. So when a sausage comes right off the grill, there's a bunch of pressure in there. The meat has expanded a little bit. There's some steam pressure going on in there. It looks nice and plump. If you let it sit out on a cutting board or on a plate and you let it sit there for a few minutes, it cools down, all that steam escapes, or it condenses back into water, and then your sausage ends up kind of shriveled looking, which is not very appetizing. What I like to do is I like to put them back into the tray with the topping so that they stay nice and warm on the cooler side of the grill. That way, when someone wants their sausage, you come and hand it to them, it'll stay nice and plump until they shove it in their gullet. So those are my do's and don'ts of grilling sausage. If you want the recipe for these grilled onions and peppers with poached sausages, or the recipe for the sauerkraut poached sausages, you will find those on my Patreon. The link will be down below. And I have some other sausage videos on my YouTube channel as well. Just search for them. And now I am going to have myself a sausage party. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, I'll see you next time.